Hey everyone, today I will tell you about the typing so-called printer firmware. It is also the firmware that was noisy a while ago. Just to clarify, this video is not targeted at any firmware author just by grabbing these responses. Let's simply reverse engineer the various firmware on the market and some bad. The firmware market, there are not many powerful authors. Most of them are gimmicks. It's like, this is what I call printer firmware. Let me tell you about this printer firmware. What about this printer firmware? From a while ago, what is printer firmware? Actually an analog printer. Some people will be deceived by unscrupulous others say it's an analog printer, but it's not true. If you want the printer, it doesn't have possibly be simulated. What is the printer firmware mentioned now? It's just a serial port card for there are two scenarios. One here is the most common parallel like the one I show in my video. This is a parallel port card. This is the simplest. I'll tell you later. Would say, why is this thing is simpler? The other is a serial port card is because it requires an I/O correct response. There are not many authors really on the market this kind of serial port card. Okay. The grabbing of this response is more difficult. So a lot of string estimates here. Is this the port? It has an exclamation point. Most of them will not make this serial port card. Now, briefly explain how to do it. Is this printer firmware it's very simple. The first step, just configure the I/O space correctly. The configuration from the IP core is very simple. Is here in the way of serial CFG. This is more basic. I believe there is no need to say too much. Masks are simple. What if there are some students who have no foundation? Then you can make a separate video later. Tell me about it. Because this video is mainly about it will not be expanded separately. Let's talk about this parallel card. Why did you say earlier that this parallel card is simple? It doesn't need its I/O space. Get the right response. That is to say, it corresponds to the bug space. Or say no, it's all okay. This defaults to CCCC. So I gave the word in fact alone. You can give this separately. It doesn't matter if you give a C or a 0. It doesn't matter. Okay. Are you? If you look here, you can directly return to N. It doesn't matter if you reply directly. Then you can see inside the CFG. You need to fill in this correctly. Elsewhere, this address of this bar. But you don't really need to change it. It doesn't matter what you like to fill in here. Because we ended up giving him a none. Go back to 0 or say something arbitrary value. Okay. And then, look at the captain's card. Is actually 3 sticks. Great. 81. There are 3 more lostnicks. Well, the only thing we need to do here, it is to fill in the correct size of this L8. Then into this 8 let's configure the next 3,000 or you can give it to 23 here. You put him here. It's all the same. You see, this is 123. It's all the same. Then you don't need to reply anything. Any word will do. You can also return a maybe a lane, return a random value or something. Okay. This is the so-called verification of this printer. Isn't that simple? So here's just one. The simplest firmware. Do make a response. To tell everyone what a gimmick is. What is a fake? I hope you are not deceived. What by about the next video? Update this LBAR to respond correctly. Is a real. It's a real requires a responsive firmware exactly will you are you supposed other firmware depending like on the situation later networking for more traffic to these things? Explain all of the above. I bought it at my own expense. Reverse it by grabbing this tyrant to continue learning. That's it for today.